Get your inflatable baseball bats ready. It's time to go with a look at LOYG. Yes, it's the Kenty podcast. Sorry. That's a different podcast. That's going to start next week. This is What's the Go? We're looking at LOYG. And yeah, it's Stu here. Hello. You may remember me. I've got a couple of fellas here with me. My mate Dave. He's a Panthers fan. Dave.
Hello, Stu. Great to be here.
And Ben, who you will have heard before, who I'll probably end up calling Wiggo instead of Ben, so that'll be confusing for you. And he's a big Sharky nut. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Stu. Hello, Dave. An absolute pleasure to be here.
So this is Look at League. We're going to just talk League week to week. And why not start at the most exciting time when Vegas? It's Vegas. You know, we're going over to Vegas to play rugby league. All the Americans over there going, hey, what? What is this? Hey, they're not throwing the ball forward. It's always backwards. What's going on?
There's a lot of yards work as well, which is always an issue.
And the field's smaller. That's going to be a little confusing for your 40-20s and the like.
It's also been very confusing. If I might jump in here and just say it's been very confusing in part of the trials, which I know we're going to talk to in a moment. But 3/4 fields, how do we feel about that?
Acclimatising.
Basically, yeah, that's right. Acclimatising to the Vegas size fields.
Oh yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, basically having all the lines bored in on the sides, which was very confusing as a viewer.
But also, I don't know what it means tactically for your team. More trucking it up the middle and just end up sending out to the winger who's 3 rows into the crowd.
Indeed.
Reece Walsh has been practicing that for years.
Hey,
Pinging it into row 3.
It's a good start.
bit of news this week. We've had Raiders punching on over there in Vegas. That's not a good look. And I don't want to start the conspiracy theories this early, but there's nothing like a big Ricky Stewart blow up to help promote a game in a foreign country, don't you think? Do you think this was provoked somehow by Peter V'landys? He was there. Maybe, here's what I think, right? So we had Morgan Smithies and Hudson Young out in one of them couldn't get a room. They were pushing and shoving and wrestling about who could get a room, hitting each other with inflatable bats. What I reckon was, they might have had their backs together in that hallway. Peter V'landys springs out of a hotel room, bops one of them in the head with the inflatable bat, disappears. They both turn around, think it's the other one.
That's how you get some promotion. Well, it's a Vegas special.
Well, we'll see if it works. If there's a full crowd for the matches, you'll know it worked. Apparently, Spencer Leniu wants out of the Chooks. We've read that this week. What would that sound right to you guys? Why would anyone want out of the Chooks?
I think he one of the reasons he went there was because he's really tight mates with Terrell May, who got shown the door in the off-season. So I think he might want to follow him to the Tigers, who have a medical retirement request in to free up some salary cap.
Well, there's that, and they're pushing Clemmer out as well.
There you go.
So, can you imagine the Tigers, if they can get Spencer Leniu,
all of a sudden,
all of a sudden,
there's a little bit of all of a sudden about the Tigers anyway this year.
Absolutely.
Where there's smoke, there's all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The last trial game was just sensational to watch. It was great viewing. Anyway, we'll get to trials.
And Stu, just in regards to the question that you asked around Spencer Leniu and wanting to get out of the Chooks, I don't know whether or not you were being facetious, but why wouldn't you want to get out of the Chooks?
Well, we don't have any lawyers currently on this show, but I would suggest that the perks of being a Rooster, either on or off books, probably outweigh most other clubs. So I'm genuinely surprised you would not want to be a Rooster.
Okay. Very cool.
But yeah, if you feel that your mate was dudded, you may well want to leave. Also,
I still find that very strange.
the Terrell May...
Yeah. There's a piece of the puzzle that we don't know about.
We don't know something. Particularly if they hadn't lost half their roster, pretty much, you would go, all right, well, that, they can afford to lose him. They must just not like his tood or something. But they are struggling, the Chooks. Anyway, we'll get to where we think they're going to end up shortly. And South, it feels a bit like their season's bombing out already with all the injuries they've had.
Indeed, that the Cam Murray piece is sad.
Yeah, it's sad like for rugby league lovers because we just love watching Cam Murray play.
And it's sad for New South Wales back row.
Yep. It's sad for fans of people getting folded.
Well, we can only hope that Victor Radley stays on the field for short back rowers folding people.
That's right.
He's going to have to bring up the numbers.
All right, well, let's have a quick chat about the trials. I guess my main point is that all three of us have come up with our ladder predictions for the end of the season. I wish I hadn't watched that last round of trials because it's really messed up my ladder that I thought I had pretty set before then.
I felt like I was struggling to formulate a ladder before the trials, and I think it became more confusing after it.
Absolutely. And because you got to say, they're just trials. It's a different game almost. But still, you can't deny what your eyes see. And there was some weird shit going on.
I think one of the things, people that have now gone out and put money on the Knights to make the 8 have made a terrible decision. And anyone that thinks that the Roosters halves combination is going to do much better than what they did against the Knights has also made a bad decision. They are my biggest takeaways from the trials over the last couple of weeks.
Poor old Chatty Townsend, 2016 Premiership hero Chatty Townsend. He seems to be on a decline, doesn't he? Like, obviously he's getting older, but the decline seems sharp.
Indeed, especially when you look at someone, and again, I know we're talking about two different classes of player here, but when you look at someone like Daly Cherry Evans, who is currently 82?
82. Yep.
Is he 82 this year?
Yeah.
And I would suggest are probably in the mid to high range of our top 8, led mainly by him and a guy with half a hamstring.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Yeah, but not only does Cherry have hamstrings, he's still got neck, all the neck.
Yes. Well, I heard that he donated some neck muscle to Trbojevic just to fill up the gaps in the hamstring.
Brilliant.
Oh, he's gone neck into hamstring.
Neck into ham. That's what I've heard.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
LOYG lovers.
We're not arsing about here. We've got all the hot goss.
Breaking news. I love it. I want more of that.
Dave, what about the reserve grade Panthers side giving it to Manly?
I really enjoyed the social media chat when the teams are announced on Tuesday, and Manly ex-fans on there saying how disrespectful it was for the Panthers club to put out a third-rate Panthers team. They should be penalised or fined because how does this help Manly? That scoreline really doesn't help Manly either because they had quite a few. I mean, they didn't have their gun players in the side, to be fair. The Trojeviches and the Turbos weren't, then Cherry weren't playing, but still.
I suppose it does suggest that if one or both of those dudes goes down this year, Manly on mountain.
Yeah. I think that they're not the only team, though. I think because this is, we'll get to it in a minute, but the analysis across the team squads now shows that it's really more evenly spread than it ever has been. I don't think there's a squad that, well, there's a couple of stack ones still, but there's like a couple of key players in every team now. If one of them goes down, any whichever team that is going to struggle.
Yeah. That's what made the ladder so hard for me is that there's it does seem as even as ever, and it really is going to be injury luck that determines who's on the bottom rather than going, well, it's obviously Tigers. You know?
Well, there isn't. For me, there wasn't that this year. There isn't that. Oh, obviously.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah. Jacob Preston's try versus the Broncos. The big second rower stepping the fullback. You've got to love it.
And then tearing away with pace. The
Yeah.
mullet flowing in the air. Oh, jeez. So good.
What a beautiful way to start the season.
Yeah. I mean, Cowboys taking apart the Storm, that made no sense to me. Titans, they looked fantastic against the Dolphins. Oh, with three fullbacks in your spine seems to work.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Desi's plan is just pace
Yeah,
and speedy pace.
that's
And
right.
two
Tino,
huge front rowers.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt either.
Tino bends the line, and then he has to choose between three fullbacks to pass it to so they can score, pretty much, is the plan there. Knights looked good, as Ben referred to. Roosters looked disgusting.
Can we just touch on Fletcher Sharp at
Yeah.
5'8"? How do we? What are our thoughts on that? Does anyone have any thoughts on that outside of?
Well, before the game, I thought O'Brien was like, okay, I'm just going to get this knifing over and done with. I'm going to get I'll get sacked before round 3 with Fletcher Sharp. But it looks like he's got a plan. Again, pace in the middle.
Yeah.
So that means, because I think Ponga and Sharp were switching between fullback and 5'8". So you basically got 2 5'8s and 2 fullbacks on the field, and they're just interchangeable.
Not to steal too much from Bloke in the Bar, but they were talking about that, which is essentially that Sharp's not playing the 5'8" in attack. He's playing fullback, and Ponga's in the 5'8" position pretty much, which they wanted to do all along when they moved Ponga to 5'8". They just didn't actually need to make him defend in the front line for him to play that role. Yeah. Anyway.
Interesting to put. I mean, again, like someone's got to defend in the front line, and now that it's Fletcher,
Yeah.
how do we feel about that?
Well, infinitely more expendable.
True, absolutely, yeah, absolutely true, right? Absolutely true.
No disrespect to him, but if you've got a mullet, most people think you're going to be hard enough to take 24 rounds of NRL contact.
Would you say that that's the Reuben Cotter effect?
Yeah. I'd also say it's the Bogan effect, to be quite honest. Which might even be a title for us. All right, Dave, you've put together a bit of info about off-season transfers for us, have you?
I have. I've never struggled so hard to put a ladder predictor together. I had a gut feeling about a top 4, and after that, I had no idea. I mean, I'm still guessing, but I had to base my guesses on something. So I pulled together the information about the gains and losses for the squads for each club, and used that to decide if I thought the squad was stronger or weaker on last year, and that's how I've moved them up and down the ladder. So, and then I used gut feeling on a couple as well.
Ooh, gut feeling.
A bit of gut feel.
Pick a team, and I'll tell you about their player movements in the off season.
What about the old Dolphionios, Dolphins?
Well, the biggest off season change for the Dolphins obviously is the coach. And the question is, without Wayne, how much do they lose in belief in themselves? But
and is Darius Boyd moving to South this year?
Yeah, he's back. The Dolphins have gained a couple of players, the biggest name being Safidi from the Knights, but they've lost their inaugural captain, Jesse Bromwich. They've lost Ewan Aitken. They've lost the depth in Milford, Tessie New, Edric Lee, Pengai Jr.
Sorry, did you just say the depth in Milford?
The depth in Milford.
That's a sad statement. I was looking at that today. I was actually like that name jumped out at me in the fact that he wasn't signed by another club. He was let go.
What was his transfer fee when he left Canberra? Was it?
Oh, a lot.
In those days, yeah.
It was huge. It was absolutely huge.
Yeah. They've lost a lot of experience, I guess. Let's go with Milford experience rather than...
Fair enough. Fair.
I don't like the way that their squad's changed in the off-season. I think it's gone backwards, and they were already... With Wayne there, they were already struggling to win games, so...
Well, you forgot about Holy Valence Teware too.
Well,
the big unit.
The big young Mel Meninga clone, he's gone too. So yeah, that's it. That leaves an even bigger hole.
Sure does. Has there been much? Well, we know there's been a fair bit of movement at the Dragons.
Dragons is really interesting because although they've lost Hunt and Lomax, who I think most of their points came through those two guys last year.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, they're in trouble because those guys are gone. But they've replaced the squad's now got Damien Cook, it's got Clint Gutherson, Val Holmes, and Lachlan Ilias. So that it sounds like
good.
they're a really balanced. They're a balanced side now. Out of absolutely nowhere, the Dragons have got one of the more balanced starting sides in the comp. And second year Flano.
Second year Flano. And you got to love Flano. He'll just say what is on his mind and does not give a bugger. And even like Ben Hunt's left months ago, he's still having pops at him.
Yep.
But like one of the sadder things to happen, and I'm a big Flano believer, being a Sharks supporter, and
2016 Premiership hero Flano.
Correct. MVP Flano. It was a real loss to the commentating world. He went and coached because of that exact reason, right?
He actually did say it how he saw it. Yeah.
But also very great insight.
Don't worry, Ben. We've got Kevy Walters now.
Oh. Yay.
Okay. Just saying the same thing 7 times.
Oh,
that's Kev.
You wait until the day when you're watching a match and Kevy Walters lines up with Blocker for some commentary.
How long? Okay, can we have a little wager here to say what week they put both of them together and what game it might be?
Well, it depends on.
We'll wait until the end. Let's wait until the end of the.
What are the overs unders on mixed metaphors?
Yeah, and
I'm taking the overs.
Completely mispronounced words,
whatever they are.
All right. We'll throw a few more at us, Dave. What stands out as interesting?
The other one that is, well, there's two. We already touched on it already with the Roosters. Lost Luke Keary, Joey Manu, Terrell May, Dylan Napa was there apparently, Joey Suolini, Tupanua, Rhea Hargraves, all gone, and they've been replaced with Chad Townsend.
Yes.
That's it. And maybe losing Spencer as well if
hang on,
the rumours.
What about Mark Nakanatanawasi?
Yeah, sorry. He's not
well, good pronunciation.
Yeah, but that's fantastic. Well done. I hope that was right. Sounded right.
Yeah, I think it was. Look, obviously he hasn't played much league as a union guy, but that offload in the trial, that was worth the price of admission.
Yep, great. That offload's going to win them the comp.
If only, says Trent Robinson.
But the other problem that they've got is that two of their best remaining players are now injured till the middle of the year as well, being the hooker and halfback. So I
don't even know that Brandon Smith's one of their best players anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
he's well paid.
Rounding up. Yeah, he's most expensive. Yeah. I've actually got a theory about the Roosters and how they've got such a poor squad this year compared to the last couple.
Yeah.
I think there was some creative management with their contracts to stack years. I think we've just been through the 2 stacked years, and obviously they're paying for it now. And they were just really unlucky with shitloads of injuries over the last couple of years. Yeah. They never really got to bear the fruits of the stacked roster.
I think also for a lot of teams, you can have a plan over a few years to build your roster. But if someone good comes on the market unexpectedly and you feel you need to grab them, that can throw everything out of whack for you completely. And I reckon that's what happened with Brandon Smith. I don't think he would have been in their plans, but suddenly he was on the market and sniffing around and going, oh, Bondo might be nice. And they threw a lot of money at him, and now their roster's all out of whack.
That random player coming on the market is the other one that I wanted to point out.
Oh, yeah.
So on the flip side of the Roosters losing all of that and gaining Chad, they have another team that they play against in this competition by the name of the Broncos, who lost Corey Oates and gained Ben Hunt into an already stacked squad.
Indeed. So, but
how
my
does a stacked squad afford $1 million player?
Well, they're in their second stacked year. Dave, can I ask, and this is not pointed at you specifically, but I'm very interested to hear your thoughts around the Panthers and their squad Like, not huge turnover in the squad, but just the names that were turned over and your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, and the compounding effect of, 4 years in a row of pretty high-quality players leaving to now... I can't remember where I heard it today. The biggest thing that I'm worried about is that there was reports that Panthers in Vegas are actually really quiet. They're quiet.
Yeah.
Because they've always been the loud, bold, brash boys from the West with the JBL blaring and...
Wasn't that a lot of mainly Romy and Crichton kind of?
Yeah, exactly.
Crichton,
Lanier, Crichton, they're kicking.
Yeah.
They're all...
To'o.
Yeah. And To'o's
To'o's
there,
injured.
but he's injured. So this year they've lost... Coming into this year, they've lost Fisher Harris, Luai, Taruva. Fisher Harris is negated a little with Papali'i coming over, and Talangi's come in to fill in, hopefully, for Luai. But
The Fisher Harris,
that's
huge.
But it's culture that and but the bond between the brothers and all of those,
the Bash brothers,
the intangibles that are, I was a little arrogant going into the last few years, and I was very confident. This year, not so much.
What about...
Hopeful.
I've got to come back to the Rezzies beating up the Sea Eagles, though.
Yeah, the production machine is still in full swing. There's going to be someone to step up. And I think if they can manage to finish in the top four, they know how to do it at the pointy end of the year, but they've just got to finish in the top four.
Absolutely.
They're now in the same boat as all those other teams that we talked about, that if they lose Cleary or Edwards or Yo now, there's not the depth there that there was before to fill in the gaps.
I wonder if Cleary's going to come down with another
Shoulder injury
in the middle of the season and come back in time fresh for the finals.
Episode 1, cynicism.
If he's out for 20 weeks this year, he's not going to be finals to come back to, I don't think.
Yeah. Every man his dog that knows anything about rugby league, or doesn't, at the start of the season likes to give their predicted ladder. I've been doing it for years, to little fanfare. But we have all come up with what we predict are our 17 in order at the end of the season. We haven't told each other what they are, so we're going to reveal it now live on the podcast. I think we should go from 1 to 17 rather than the other way, because I get the sense that our top fours are kind of probably similar.
Yeah, I would say so.
In that,
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I reckon our top 5 are the same.
Well, so I'm going to say my number 1 is the Sharks. So I've got Sharks minor premiers this year. No bias there. I just feel that they're good. They've got great depth. Now AFB's here. It feels like a bit of a missing piece of the puzzle. And they're not going to lose people at Origin time. They're going to keep the same squad. Who in that squad's going into Origin?
For years now, they've developed the combinations. They all know the patterns. They've had the same coach with the same defensive technique. It's all. It's now. The time is now.
Absolutely. So I feel it. That's what I feel. Okay, Dave, your number 1.
My number 1 had equal points, but for and against, I took the Storm.
Storm. Okay.
I see the Storm last year were pretty damn impressive. They were minor premiers, and they had Munster out for most of the year, and as well as him back healthy now, they've also added Udokamano to the squad. So they were
crazy.
Huge
so
last
crazy.
year, and they're probably a better squad this year with more experience again.
Yeah.
So
him and Nelson together coming at you.
Dangerous.
Ben?
Yeah, that's gross. Again, no bias here, but I do have the Sharks as minor premiers.
Yeah.
I feel like the Fanua Blake edition I'm excited about that. Like, that is incredible. Like, we literally have try scoring all over the park,
including now at prop.
Well, double prop.
Double prop, because
like reserve prop. But I think our only, like, as much as I love him, Iro as a defensive centre is incredible, but I don't feel like there's something on that side that's just a little bit short on
Wow.
something there, but
Harsh on a guy that's only played one season in first.
it is. But again, like, hey, I think bounce back season from Hines this year. I think he'll be incredible.
Yep.
I think he and Trindle in the halves will be. I feel like we'll score a lot of points, but I think a lot of it's going to be down the right side. And
look at Iro's stats when you get a chance. He runs a lot of meters.
he does. Oh, absolutely! Like, he is a workhorse and an incredible defensive centre. And mate, I hope to be wrong. I hope he's our second top try scorer with like 19 this year. That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
but
I think for Sharks, AFB coming actually changes a lot in that my main thing that I've been worried about with Sharks is always persistently running with that 4-forward bench no matter what. AFB is a big minute front rower. You don't need to run 4 forwards on the bench. Yep. You can have two
we can bring back Jared Beale.
You can have
but your coach is smart enough that he will play the opposition. So depending on what you need, if you need the extra big man, you can play him. If you want some extra speed off the bench, you can do that.
Can I give you a tepid take?
Tepid take, please.
I feel like Stone Street should have been playing over Katoa anyway.
Yes.
Ooh.
I think that is great.
That's a very tepid take. Oh, so for obviously, we've got a Facebook group, Tepid Takes. What's the go, Tepid Takes? And what we'd like you to do is join that and drop in a take like Ben just had, your sport take. We can mention it on the show. Yeah, I mean, Katoa has been... I reckon...
He's been great, but he's got...
I'm not saying you're wrong, but like it's pretty borderline.
Yeah.
I like the height. I do. I like the two bigger wingers, and we don't lose anything in speed.
No.
And I think the one thing that's being overlooked here is No Hands Williams has gone to
Feet for Hands.
Feet for Hands has gone to Parramatta, which I think is huge for our bench. In that there's no 2 dropped balls every time he comes on the field.
Yeah. Right.
So I think we've got some great defensive forwards off the bench.
Yeah. He was another 2016
Atkinson,
Premiership hero, Andrew Feet for Hands. Okay.
That's me. That's my Sharks takes for pre-season.
Yep. And we want Stone Street, thinnest head in rugby league. We want that in there.
Absolutely. No doubt.
All right. We better get cracking or we'll never finish. My number two is the Storm. I am sick of the last 3 years going, Storm have got to fade this year. They've got to fade this year. They've got to fade this year. No, I'm not doing it this year. I got them second. And Sharks, I don't know who's going to be in this grand final. Could be any of my top 4, to be honest. But I can't write Storm off for another year and look like a dickhead.
Get it?
Well, I've got them the same. Like, I've got them as second.
All right.
And it's not reaching very far to say that they've got the best spine in the comp.
No. Is it the only spine with a podcast? In the NRL?
There's a song in that, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think what is it called? 167, I think? Pappenhausen, Munster and Jerome Hughes.
Yeah. I put Sharks second. So we had the same top.
There we go. All right, 1 and 2. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Well, there we are. That's fairly aligned. My number 3 is the Broncos. All right, Broncos at 3. Same. They, assuming that all the egos can get on board the Psycho Madge train, I think they're in for a big season. And even, again, their fringies, played out of control in the trials. They were so good, obviously. They won their pre-season competition, but their fringies were just great.
Madge had them whipped into a fringy.
So they're all trying to impress Madge, and if they can keep that going, they're top 4 bound.
He's a coach that recognises effort, and so those fringe players putting in the effort, they're going to get rewarded for it. So it's going to bring out the best in them. I hate it.
Absolutely.
Even just saying, it says a lot about how do you pronounce his surname? The hooker? Corey
Pakes.
4th choice hooker last year.
Yeah.
And now first choice, and Madge picks on effort. So that's a big call.
Yeah.
and he's probably going to be freaking unreal.
Probably will be, but it'll only be until Mam comes back, because once Mam's back in the 6 jersey, they're going to have to put Ben Hunt at hooker.
Yep.
Then they will have the best spine in the comp.
Yeah, but Hunt's not going to play 80, you would think.
But they do have 4 hookers that they can call.
Sorry, I was just going to make a very ordinary comment around Adam Reynolds only playing 30% of the games this season, but then Ben Hunt just goes and plays halfback. So it's like it doesn't even matter.
I think they're so stacked. Whatever happens with them injury-wise, they'll be able to cover.
Yep.
Number 3, Dave?
Got it.
Broncos?
Yep.
Whew.
All right. Ben?
Yeah, Bronx 3rd for me too.
Wow. There we go. Across the board.
Can we just say that obviously means we all must have the Panthers at 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Panthers 4.
Yep.
All right. There we go.
And for me, even with all those losses, even though I'm not super confident on winning the comp this year, like I have been before, I'm actually got the feels that this is Cleary's year, because it has to be him for that team.
Yeah.
So this is probably his best chance at a Dally M, and he's probably going to play his chin off.
Yeah.
Well, he's
got
the best player in league by the length of the straight.
Yeah.
And
he has to be fueled by the naysayers as well. So
I've got Panthers finishing 4th, but I've actually got them beating the Storm in the grand final.
Okay.
wow.
For 15 in a row now, Dave. Would that be it?
Yeah, gonna need to get a bigger show.
So here's where things will go a bit off kilter, I imagine. My number 5 is actually the Raiders.
Wow.
So
Okay. Explain. Explains you.
Well, so I just think Gould is holding them back. No. I just think that their forwards, obviously they've got a great forward pack, and they've got Ethan Sanders played really well in the trials. I don't know. It's a vibe thing. I can't do much more than that for you. I just think that they're going to inflatable baseball bat people out of games, you know? I can't do better than that, guys. I've got them at 5. That's all I can do.
Okay. I just thought with the Raiders that they were probably really, really light on experience now that they've lost Rapana and Whitehead and
a couple of big losses there, like just from experience.
but they've
not
got
necessarily
so
just
young
players in the world, but
they've got Josh Papali who's been playing since the late 80s, though. Let's not forget.
So it still brings the average cap to over 100. Yep, cool.
Number 5, Dave?
Number 5 for me is Manly. Seagulls.
Manly.
It surprised me.
I'm same, Dave. Same.
All right, you're saying, all right.
And it all depends on Cherry Evans and Trebojevic staying fit, because if either one of them goes, they're not in the 8.
But it says so much about those two as players.
They're so good. They're so good. But they go to any
They're
team.
so good.
Yeah.
If for some reason they don't pick Cherry Evans for State of Origin this year, then Sea Eagles should be higher than I've got them, that's for sure.
Have a look at their backline depth. They're going to have players playing reserve grade that would make most other teams.
Yeah.
They're good. They're just not massively stacked in the forwards, that's all.
No. And are they going to put Garrick back out to wing where he belongs at some point, or are they just...
I don't think they are. They're not. It's a shame. He's a top-grade winger, but...
Well, listen, if you winced at my number 5, you're going to really gurn at my number 6. Titans.
Okay.
Ben, I wish people could see your face. It's doing all manner of things.
I'm not shocked. They're a little higher than what I've got them, but it's not far away from where I've got them.
Likewise.
But although across the park,
they could do anything.
They could. I will say that they've got the probably widest variance of where they could.
Yeah. Their floor and their ceiling are. The gap between them is vast.
Yes, vast. And even with Foz down for a few months, if Tino can stay out there, man,
Could be anything.
I don't know. They're going to play some exciting footy at the very least.
Yeah, we saw that in the trial too, didn't we?
If they can score more points than they let in, they'll be up there. Number 6, Dave?
I landed on the Cowboys. I'm a bit worried about them losing Val Holmes and Cole Felt, but remember mid-year their home ground advantage becomes pretty significant. They've got real talent in pretty much every key position, so it's just going to come down to how their halves work.
Yeah.
If their halves don't work, they're bottom four, but I just think with the rest of their squad, they're too good to not be up there.
Yeah, fair enough, Ben. Number 6.
I got the Doggies.
Doggies, yeah. Not much
Probably
has happened for player movement for the Doggies, has it?
Not heaps. I mean, Addo Carr's probably a bit of a loss, but
Skelton, so their wingers, they've lost 2 of their wingers.
But again, like the importance of some players, and Crichton was mammoth last year, and I just think he is. Like they'll get on the back of him again, and I think they'll be there and thereabouts. Like I think they'll make the 8. And my wife's a Bulldog supporter, so if I put him any lower than 6th, probably be sleeping outside. So I just think he's that good that everything else around him, like Sexton's average, but Burton's unreal. And they're
good players are really good.
Yes. And the rest of them are fine.
And the rest of them fill the gaps. Yeah. Yeah.
Your Kurt Mans.
Yeah. Hey,
yep.
He's all right.
My thing with the Bulldogs is that I think they were really possibly underestimated last year, or how quick the transition into the Serraldo ball was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't think they will be underestimated this year. So it's going to be a lot harder for them. So they're going to have to keep that. They're going to have to step up again.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to if Serraldo is that coach to get them to that level.
I agree. I've got them, like, maybe not quite. I think they were 5, weren't they? 2024?
2024, they were 7th.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's where I've got them.
Yeah.
I've got them 7th.
Yeah.
I just feel not much happened movement-wise for them. They're going to keep playing their style. I'd probably see them around the same spot. Dave, who's your number 7?
My number 7 is the Dragons.
Dargans.
Yeah, go the Dargans. I was thinking them bottom 4, and then I looked at the squad, and it's just like what we were saying before with second-year Flano and a really well-balanced squad. All of a sudden, they look good. They look good. And, they're going to bring intensity and effort every week under Flano.
Yeah.
So they're not going to lose any games on their own.
I don't care which side you are. You would not sniff at Val Holmes, Moses Sully centre pairing in your side.
No, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So,
and it's interesting because I had some flip-flopping going on with the Dragons, and I had them in my 8. And then their forward pack's a bit sus, going the distance. So they're not in my 8.
Don't ride off the Couchmen, though. I think they'll keep growing and growing this year.
Couchman A and Couchman B.
That's right. Yeah. Ben, number 7?
Number 7 for me is the North Queensland Cow People.
Right.
They're just... I think, again, Dave touched on it before. Just getting to play people in the tropics is a bit of an advantage.
Humidity helps.
Yeah.
And I think Dearden, again, like I'm looking at individual players and just think like Dearden, another year on, like could very well, like just one of those guys that could
kick on.
Could kick on, could be a smoky for best on ground in Origin, like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Munster at 6 and Dearden at 7 for Queensland would be interesting.
It's possible this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like that's...
If that happens, though...
I just think he's unreal. Drinkwater's... It hurts the Cowboys, right? Yeah. But it means that he's playing some incredible football.
Yeah, good point.
And being a Shark supporter, I hate the Cowboys, but I think they'll be pretty good. And I'll have them at 7.
All right.
Cool.
My number 8's the Dragons. I agree with all those sentiments. So I've got them scraping into the 8. Dave?
Yep, I've got Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
So we are rounding out the same teams by the sound of it.
Well, sort of. I've got
except for the Raiders.
Mine are a bit different.
Except for the Raiders. That is a shock. I have the Gold Coast fullbacks coming in at 8.
You've got so your Titans make your 8 as well, eh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. All right, my 9 Seagulls. I just don't. I think they don't scrape in this year.
Hamstrings, necks.
Yeah, Tommy's only got so much hamstring to give the world of rugby league, and I'd rather him give it to New South Wales than Manly.
Fair.
That's where I'm at. Dave, you're 9?
My 9 is Titans.
Titans, all right. They'll be knocking on the door, but not quite there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they could be 5th or they could be 15th. They are the Titans.
Absolutely. Ben, number 9.
I have the Dragoons at
yes.
number 9.
Okay. All right. Now, my number 10 hasn't been mentioned yet. I got the Wars up there.
Ooh.
I just think with the way that you said before, Dave, culture, I think the way that it's growing over there, there's a bit of a movement growing. Now you got James Fisher-Harris coming over, and as a replacement for AFB, they're both quality props, but JFH is going to bring in leadership and culture and stuff. I think it'll have an effect. So I do feel
literally what he moved back for, to be the leader of his family back home. So he's going to be the leader of the club, of course, in culture as well. And that's one of those intangibles. You can't see that on a stat sheet. It's just going to bring something special to them.
Absolutely. And you saw how he played in the All-Stars game and how fired up he was about winning that. So I'm scared I've got him a little high, but I'm sticking to it. Warriors at 10.
You don't want to worry about with Warriors. Worries. With Sean Johnson gone, who's going to be the organiser? Because they don't have an organising hooker. They don't have an organising half. The teams were named today. They got Harris, Tavita, and
Loka,
Metcalf.
Yep.
As the halves. Neither of them are really organising, long kicking.
Metcalf's kicking all right.
He does strike them all right. I know he'll be goal kicking, but yeah. I mean, with that sort of forward pack, they probably won't have to do too many clearance kicks anyway. They'll be on the attack most of the time. They're the right in the field.
You're talking me out of it, but I can't change it now.
Okay.
It's in there. He's written it in pen.
It's Ben. I've got Ben. Dave, number 10.
My 10 was the Knights.
Knights, okay.
That I think what happened in the trials swayed me a bit because any team with O'Brien I don't normally have in the 8. I just don't hate him.
Which has just been Knights, pretty much.
Which has been Knights.
Is that why I've got him 10th?
Yeah. There's plenty of attack there and the potential, but I can't see him any higher than that.
The optics around what he was doing with the halves last year is bad in terms of coaching. So
doesn't your whole team have to settle around your halves?
Yeah.
And if you change them every couple of weeks, that can't be good, right?
Yeah. So if he can calm down this year, then they're probably better.
Put a winger in the halves, then you're set.
Then you're all good.
Absolutely. Number 10, Ben.
Ha ha ha. Dun 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 dun.
Ben 10.
The Tigers.
Oh. Yeah, I don't mind that. And the reason I don't mind that is because I got him 11.
Same. I've got him 11 as well.
Dave's got him 11 as well.
I just think Luai is a huge get. And look, they got Royce Hunt. Yeah. Get on board.
Choice Royce.
Get on board, people.
If they honestly, I mean, obviously we've just decided that's happening. But if Lenu lands there as well this
then
year,
they're back to their rightful place of 9.
I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch him. Galvin, unreal.
Yep.
You know?
The last 2 years of unearthing all the rookies means that now they've got choices in every position now. So good spot. And great recruitment. Amazing recruitment.
And useful utility options for the like Dewey's can play anywhere. He played halfback on the weekend and did well. Jack Bird. Anyway. Yep. Number 11, Ben.
11, I have the Eels.
Do you?
I do.
Eels worry me. For them, not for me.
I think everyone that I've got from here on in is just sort of like a bit of a mixed bag.
You had to pick one.
Yeah.
And so I'll take the Eels.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, like Moses.
Yeah. Premier halves combo.
Great. Incredible. And Brownie, good, really good. Yeah. Everyone else, do stuff.
Yeah. I don't like that.
Support those two.
I don't like that Junior Paulo's lost weight.
Yeah.
He's a lean machine now. I've got Number 12 is Knights. I had them lower until the trial game, but 12 is the highest I can place them. Obviously, that, again, we're talking about teams where if one player goes down, they're in trouble. Ponga goes down, they could be bottom 4.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, number 12 for you, sir?
I thought I was going to be alone having these teams so low, but I'm the first one, I think, to name this, the Roosters. My gut, I tried is that they're even lower than that, but I've gone with the Roosters at 12.
Yeah, I had them at 12 and moved them down further.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben?
My next team is the Warriors.
Warriors at 12.
Yep.
Alrighty. Now, my 13 is Rabbits. We haven't mentioned them either yet. I just think, I don't know, combination of, not having the cattle and just the psychological effect of Bennett turning up. It's our year. All right, now people are falling left, right, and centre. I just don't think it will be a good thing for their season.
Agreed.
13, Dave?
My 13 is the Eels.
Eels, yeah, righto. Ben, 13.
Yeah, I got the Rabbits. Here.
Rabbits as well, yeah. I mean, they could do a lot better than that. It wouldn't surprise anyone. Mitchell comes back, Cody Walker fires. But,
It's a lot of ifs, though.
Yeah.
All the other teams above them, all of their players are fairly fit without having necessarily played a game.
I've got the Roosters at 14.
Yeah.
I just
Agreed.
think they're going to... You've got them at 14 as well?
I do. I would have had them lower, but...
Yeah,
you just think that when they get their Walker back and they've still got players, it's just not what we're used to with Roosters.
And I don't think you can build a year's campaign around whether Joey Manu might get sick of playing rugby and come back.
No, I wouldn't think so.
All right, Dave, who was your 14, mate?
14 Raiders. I just don't see enough experience for him to
get
higher than that.
Okay, fair enough. And they've probably all heard enough Ricky meltdowns for it to not have much effect anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 15 for me is the Dolphins. I worry about them. I don't think they'll do so good this year. Not to say they don't have quality players, but, the Bennett effect and just the other squads being better stacked, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
15, Dave?
15, I've got the Warriors. It's for those reasons I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Losing ASB, Tohu Harris, Sean Johnson, Dallin Latani-Zelezny out for the first chunk of the year. That's just too much. Too much for a team that was already struggling last year. With all of that support that they get at home and being the team that plays for a whole nation, that lifts them, but maybe can be a weight and a burden as well. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, 15.
We go? 15?
15, I got the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Too much on Hammer.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And Hammer should be in the centres if Trey Fuller comes back. IMO. That might be my tepid take. My 16 is the Eels. I
don't see it.
Again, it's just if Moses goes down, I saw them trying to play last year without Moses. Dylan Browns can't organise a team, unfortunately.
And they've got a new untried coach, and then he's going to be changing things too.
New coach and a few losses. Zach Lomax will obviously be a big plus, but yeah, I just don't see him doing that well this year. Dave, you're 16.
16 is the Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And Ben, you're 16, sir?
I have the Knights.
Knights down 16. Yeah, that's where I had them.
Do you see Ponga getting injured this year?
Well,
I see a few
concussion
things happening
is
at the
guaranteed,
Knights.
surely. Not that you wish that on anyone, but he's concussed every month or so.
If you miss him for a month, then you don't win.
Yeah. Now, my 17, we're at the spoon section. Have you noticed a team I haven't mentioned yet
Yes, I have.
That you guys mentioned quite a lot higher?
Yeah. So you're picking an injury for that for that key player as well, I guess.
Or who's their key player?
The Sea Eagles for you that you've missed, isn't it?
No.
No, it's the Bulldogs, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
My wooden spooners are the Cowboys.
Oh, it's the Cowboys. Wow.
I
Because
don't.
we talked because I had them at 7. You had them at 6, Dave?
Yeah. That was only because of this stats thing that I did to try and figure out my teams. My gut feeling was Cowboys bottom 4 too, but
Look at the squad. Like
they've lost Val Holmes and Felt, and they've gained Bateman.
Yeah, Hillam Lukey's out.
He's out too.
Bateman's,
And
Reece Robson's kind of probably.
Well, he's on his way out to the Roosters next year. So
he may mentally check out during the year.
Jake Glanville didn't get signed.
Tamalolo's, quite a bit older and slower. Is McLean still their starting prop?
Yeah.
Well, I worry about their squad.
They do have players like McIntyre to come up, but it's. I can see what you're saying.
And Drinky, as exciting as he is, can
all.
also have some Barry Crockers. So
Fair. Very fair.
and someone's got to be last. And as we said,
and this year was very, very hard to pick
Yep.
anything from 5th down, I think.
Absolutely.
I went with Rabbitohs last. For all the
Rabbitohs
reasons.
last.
Yeah. I think by the time Latrell comes back, it's too late. Campbell Graham's out too. He's broken his hand, so
Yeah. And
no Murray, so
and losing Damien Cook's going to be much bigger effect than I think they realise.
Huge. Anyway,
And
pick
I've
someone.
got the Raiders last.
You got the Raiders last. All right. What about
I think that's the biggest
KO
disparity
Weeks.
for you two guys, Raiders.
Yeah, KOE scoring tries from fullback through the whole team.
Yeah, and then letting 40 in. So, it's,
It's known as the Reece Wesser
I
effect.
see your point. All right. Well, there you go. I'll put these up on the What's the Go socials, and you can ridicule them to your heart's content.
now, I just wanted to can I just make a point about Vegas?
Please.
I cannot be more inspired and excited and uninterested in 2 games
Yeah.
that are just so polar opposite
Of what?
in regards to like the Sharks Panthers game
Oh yeah.
That
is like
possibly
that is like
2 of the best.
incredible.
Yeah,
Right. What a
super
game.
exciting.
What a game to get first up. Like what in those first couple of games. That's going to be incredible. I have a feeling that we might just get them.
I'd put money on the Sharks.
I don't understand the odds on either of these games, to be honest, at the moment. Sharks are almost double Panthers.
Yeah. I got
don't
$2.
give a
2 horse race in another
$2.45.
country.
Yeah, and Raiders are a lot more than the Wars. So, again, I'm not sure I get that, but, there may be some, not that we condone betting, but there may be some
Gamble
pleasant hunting
What
to
could
be
you
had.
be buying instead? More bets.
Yeah.
Free bet.
I think.
Hang on,
I think the Sharks are a red hot chance.
Hang on, before you go on, just let me... I was just going to quickly talk about the Toyn list. So, the Toyn list came out. Raiders pretty much as, I think, expected. We knew Albert Hopewadi wasn't going to be in Vegas due to the birth of his child, but Hot Tamale comes in straight in there. And Big Red Machine, Corey Horsburgh, gets a start at prop with Papali'i on the bench.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, they're going to be sharing time anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the most interesting move for the Warriors team is, as you mentioned earlier, Harris Tavita coming in at the 6th jersey when a lot of people probably thought it was Tawari Martins.
Yeah. He's in the squad still, so he's over there.
Yeah. But I reckon it's just to get another double-barrel surname into that Warriors side. There's
The guy that
5.
sells hyphens, and he needed
For the Panthers, Casey McLean nabs a wing spot left by Taruva. And surprisingly, Cole's been named at 5'8" instead of Blaze Talangi, which...
Lungy's there. I think it's an injury issue.
Oh, do you? Oh, right. Okay. And Scotty Sorensen's will be on an edge, which I'd prefer him in the middle, Scotty Sorensen, with his quick leg speed through the middle, catching big fellas by surprise. But there you go. And Sharks pretty much been named exactly as you'd expect, with the exception that we do, have a utility Daniel Atkinson on the bench instead of 4 forwards. So predictions, fellas. What do you think?
I'm going to, for this Sharks game, I'm going to pick the Sharks 24-12.
Oh, we're going a score as well. All right,
you like.
24 time. Yeah,
Try scorers?
No, just whatever you feel confident about, I reckon you shout out. So I feel Sharks will win. I don't know why. Again, it's a feeling. Raiders in the 8-star. And I think Raiders will beat the Wars. I'm not too sure why. I don't know why the Raiders are there in Vegas. I understand New Zealand being there. Panthers deserve it, obviously. Sharks have a bit of glamour about them.
Great uniform.
Raiders and that's
probably. Yeah, I'd say so. That's probably right. So yeah, I've got Sharks not by much, and Raiders probably not by much either, to be honest. Ben?
Yeah, I was going to say Sharks by 2. And look, I think I have to back my thought process, and I think that front row pairing of the Warriors of Mitch Barnett and Fish,
co-captains, by the way,
I think they will do the job.
Is that the scariest co-captain combination that's ever been in an NRL side? Holy shit!
Yep.
Yeah.
Most sleeve tatted co-captain ever.
Yeah, and I think
elbow to the face captains ever.
The Wars will get them. I think the Wars will get them by 10.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. We'll double check that next week.
I'll go to Wars too.
Yeah. Great. All right. Well, that's us. Come back next week. Follow the What's the Go socials. Join the Tepid Takes Facebook group, and tell a LOYG loving mate who might want to listen to some ramblings. Thank you, fellas.
Thanks, you. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Dave.
And farewell, everybody. This is an Angry Chimp podcast.